Okay, the next step in creating your works cited is going to be working in the document that you created and opened from your email. If you've closed that document for any reason, the easiest way to find it is to go to your Google Drive and search works cited. And you'll find all of the instructions, written instructions for what I'm telling you to do in this video on the third slide of the source notes instructions slides that are on the assignment page in Canvas. Okay, so you are going to need your works cited document. You also are going to need your materials packet that you were given. You have a paper copy that looks like this, and we are finding the section that says sources, and we just want to find the first box or table that looks like this that's at the beginning of source one. We want to find that source one information table. Okay, so the other thing that, another step that you can do that is kind of optional, but will probably save you a lot of time, especially if you're not really thrilled about the idea of having to type out everything, all of the information from your paper materials packet to the document that we're working with. And that's going to be to go to the instruction slides and just click on the link for the materials packet. That'll give you access to this folder. And then you're just going to find the materials packet for your topic so that you can copy and paste from that document instead of having to type everything out. So just to find your topic and open up that document. And again, that's an optional step, but it is kind of a time saving step. Okay, you can see that I have located in the electronic version of my materials packet the information table for source one. So now what I'm going to do in my works cited document is I'm going to come up here to I come up here to the tools, and I'm going to go ahead and select the citations tool. And then I want to click add citation source. And then everything that I need to fill in the information using this tool, I'm going to find in that gray table. So the first thing I need to know, or the first two things that I need to know, are my source type and what it is accessed by. So if I go here, you can see that I have the source type here, and then I have accessed by down here. So I'm looking at website and website. So now I'm back in the citation tool, and I'm just going to select website, and it already has the default for accessed by is website, so I have that. I'm going to go ahead and skip where it says search with a URL, and I'm going to click cite manually. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in all of this information, at least all of the information that I can find or that is included on the information table for my first source. So like I said, I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to start filling things in. I'm going to start with my title. You want to be careful with your titles because they aren't always in the source capitalized according to capitalization rules for titles that we have learned, and those are the correct rules, so you need to make sure that you correct any capitalization in the titles. Also in the author's names, there's sometimes that they appeared in the article as all caps, and you would not want to put their names in all caps. That's not the proper way to capitalize names. So uh, it won't correct, the tool will not correct that stuff for you. You have to put it in right. So I'm just going to finish transferring over my information, and there may be things that aren't in my table. Anything that's not in your information table, you're just going to leave that blank. You're going to skip it. So if there's no author, for example, then you would not fill in the author part. All right. I'm going to go ahead and finish filling in my table, and then I'll show you what to do next. Now, the way that they ask for the dates is kind of weird. They ask for a published day, and that's just the number of the day. So my publication date is September 20th, 2016. The day is that day of the month of September is what I'm putting in. So I'm putting in 20. And you want to just do numerals, actual numbers, and you don't want any sort of suffix like th or an rd, nothing like that. So then I'm going to go to my month, and for my month, I'm going to spell it out. This is really important. And then finally, my published year, I'm going to make sure that I use a 4-digit year. And you're going to do the same for your accessed day. And this is just the day that you looked at the source and pulled the information, because sometimes things get updated and the information is changed. So the last thing that you have is a short title. And I said if it wasn't included in the information table, to skip it. The one exception to that rule is the short title. That is just a shortened version. If you have a long title that's like more than 3 or 5 words, you don't want to have to include that whole long title in the parenthetical citation when you're citing in text. So you want to tell the citation tool what you're going to use instead. So you want these words to come from the title, and you want it to be different than any of the other short titles that you choose, because you need to be able to figure out which source it's supposed to go with. So the title of this source is The Benefits of Technology for Teens. It isn't all bad news. So I'm going to shorten this to Benefits of Technology for Teens. It is 5 words exactly. Like I said, 3 to 5 words. That's all we want. So now that I have filled this all in, I can go ahead and click Add Citation Source. And you're just going to follow that same process for the rest of, for the other 3 sources that you have to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add my other 3 sources, and then I'll come back and I will show you what you need to do next. So I've come to adding my 4th source, and this source is a little bit different from the other sources. I think up until this point, at least for me, the source type has been a website, and it's been accessed by a website. And this is different, and if you do not notice that this is different and you keep going with what you have been using, then you're going to end up not seeing uh, the spaces for the information that you have for the source, and that gets confusing. The other thing that I about this source is it has an example of a title that's not capitalized properly, and so I wanted to address how you address that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to start with or actually, we have to start with the source type and the how it was accessed. So this source is a newspaper article that's been accessed from an online database called Newsella. So when I put in my source type, I have to change it to newspaper article, and I have to select online database. And that's going to give me different fields to fill in than if I did something else. And this source does not have an author, so the very first thing I'm going to be putting in is that title. So I'm still going to copy and paste my title. But as you notice, only the first word in this title is capitalized. And it should be every word except for those prepositions, conjunctions, and articles. So pretty much every word in this title, I've got to go through and capitalize. I don't do to because it is a preposition. So it's those, a lot of the small words are the ones that we're not going to be capitalizing. In is a preposition, and that's it. So I'm going to finish filling in the rest of this form. You will come across city, edition, issue. You're not going to have those things. You're not going to have page numbers, and you're not going to have a standard number, and that's okay. You just skip it. Okay, so now that I have that all filled out, I can just click Add Citation Source, and then I will be ready for the next step. So here you can see in the tool, I have added all of my sources. One thing that I wanted to point out is that if you go to the little three little dots next to the Cite button that you get when you mouse over individual sources, you can edit them. So if you're noticing any issues, it is possible to go back and edit. You don't have to re-put in the whole thing. All right, so you're ready to move on to the next step. I'll see you in the next video.